Hello, welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 239. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
And I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. It is February 1st. It is the day
Yes.
of the big game, because you know you can't say the S word, or you
Oh,
have to pay
really?
them, yes.
Oh,
It
that's
is
funny.
the day of a big football game here in the States.
The people on the Hogwarts board call it Superb Owl Day.
That's pretty funny.
I agree. So, anyway, what are you working on, dear?
Um, I have got 20 more stitches till the end of
I
the
can
row.
go, because I
Okay,
only have one thing.
all right.
I am knitting on Flex, which is a very cute pattern by Tin Can Knits. I had to look. There we go. It is a top-down raglan sweater. See how it is? And it's got this garter detail on the sleeves
Mm-hmm.
that works its way down. And this is the 0 to 6 month size. And I am using Jojo Land Tonic, which was from the stash. I actually got this the year that I drove, the year that my car broke down at your place.
Mm-hmm.
I drove up to Leslie's, and it was just pouring on my way up, and I needed to stop. And there's this place called the Yarn Patch. It's a store that's right off. They've got a
They have a
billboard.
billboard in
40.
Tennessee, yes.
I'm 40. It's right outside of Knoxville. And they have a billboard, and they're right off the highway. So I was like, I'm going to go hang out there for a couple minutes, let kind of the weather pass, which it didn't. It just stayed nasty, but it gave me like a, breather.
Yeah.
So I got two skeins of Jojo Lantonic, and this pattern calls for 270 yards, and they're 220 each. They are an acrylic, 85% acrylic, 15% wool blend. They're machine washable. So this is a baby shower present for a coworker. She's having a little boy. It's a little bit looser. It's knit on size 6 and 8s, and the 8s are kind of loose, but it's getting me the right gauge. So it'll just be, but like this baby will be in it for
Yeah.
not very long,
Yeah.
so it'll be fine. It's just like a cute little shower present. So she's like a secretary at my school. She does discipline entry and some other stuff, and she is due in 2 weeks, and no one's
Wow.
thrown her a shower, and I felt really bad. And her like really good best friend works there too as a counselor, and so she had thrown her a shower at her house for like their
Oh,
common friends.
okay.
So she kind of just like slipped through the cracks. So I am co-sponsoring a shower on Tuesday. We decided on Friday because on Wednesday she goes back to the doctor and she's already dilated a little bit.
Oh,
So we were worried they were going to put her on bed rest or something.
yeah.
So, and teacher land, at least in where I work, we get paid once a month, and it's the last working day of the month. So, people have not been paid since the 18th of December.
Yeah.
So, like, throwing a shower in January is always terrible because people will have spent money for the holidays, and then we don't get paid for, a month
Yeah.
and a half. Which, if you budget correctly, you know that going in. It's not like it's a surprise. But, so it's terrible to try to throw
Yeah.
a shower in January. So we're doing it the 3rd of February instead. So that is the only thing that I'm currently working on because I am trying to bust a move. I cast this on this morning. I'm trying to bust a move and get it done, which I should. It's going really fast by tomorrow night. So
So you won't have it to show next week. It'll be gone.
it will be gone. But I have 5 other baby showers to knit for this spring. So I am sure that there will be more of this pattern cast on. It's a free pattern by Tin Can Knits. It's part of their Simple series.
Yep.
And they're doing something called 12
In
sweaters. The 12,
2015. Mm-hmm.
yeah, in 2015, Cal. So this will go towards that as well because you can do any size sweater because they've got wee ones as well. In
Yeah.
fact, I think one of them is expecting.
Oh,
So
is it Emily or it's Emily Wessel and I can't remember the other lady's name.
I cannot remember, but on Instagram, one of them was having like a find the sex party.
Oh, okay.
Whether it was for them or for someone else, I don't
Okay.
know. I can't remember now. but I could just be making stuff up and telling millions of people.
I love that because now we're going to get contacted by 10 candidates going, which one of us is pregnant again?
I don't know. I'm making stuff up. But they do both have little ones,
Yes.
and they have very cute little ones.
Yeah.
So they model often their knitwear.
Yes.
But anyway, that's the only thing I'm working on currently.
Okay. I'm working on my pumpkin ale, and I'm going to show it to you, but it's kind of like all over the place because it's knit in a weird way. The back is knit bottom up in one piece, and then you pick up and go sideways for one side, and then you put all those stitches on waste yarn, and then you pick up again, and you go out again on the other direction. And that's where I am. I'm going out in the other direction, the second side. So it's just everything's sort of flopping around, but it won't be when I'm done.
I like that flopping around dance.
Yeah, it's very specific. Now somebody is going to post on Instagram a picture of me doing this.
Last week I went to 3 basketball games because my kids are in the playoffs, and 2 of my parents created the traveling dance. When the other team gets called for traveling, they do this little dance. It is hilarious.
So this is the back, and then last week while we were recording, I realized that I had totally picked up from the wrong end, from the bottom instead of the top. So I pulled that out and picked up from the correct side and knit out, and there's a bunch of short row shaping in here to give the bottom some flair.
And that's the pocket.
This is the pocket, right? The stitches are on waste yarn on both sides, and then it's got bottom edge and the armhole shaping here. So again, it looks really weird. It's hard to tell that it's going to be a sweater.
So what's going to happen up here? Like if that's armhole shape, like
this is armhole shaping.
That's going to connect in some way.
The arm will be up here. So the next step is to knit the arms, and I'm guessing join them. I didn't get into that specific. And then afterwards, you pick up all the way from the bottom edge on one side across the back and down the other side, and you knit a big wide stockinette edging. So sleeves,
that
yeah.
Ysolda's so clever. Yolanda's clever too,
Oh,
but Ysolda's especially clever.
Yeah, I can't tell without taking up 30 minutes reading through the pattern. But yes, so it looks kind of crazy. Hopefully next week. I've only got to do 24 more rows from this little marker, and I've only got this much left in the ball. I'm hoping it'll get me. I've got more balls, but I'd like to finish it with this. So I've been pretty dedicated to this because I would really like to wear the sweater while it's still cool enough to wear sweaters.
That would be cool.
And I really want to cast on a sweater out of my Mustache Queen of Hearts.
It's very pretty.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. I haven't finished anything this week because I've only been working on this. I did cut sashing for Laura's book quilt.
Yay!
Except I cut it an inch too short. And I cut 31 of them an inch too short, so that was awesome.
It's very special.
Yeah. And I cut it the wrong way. I realized later was you're supposed to cut it the width of the fabric, so there's less like stretch and distortion, and I did not. So I went to Joann's and got some more. I got a bunch. I got like 5 yards of plain white fabric because I'll use it in all kinds of quilts and stuff. So
can you use the stuff that you already cut for something else?
yeah, I'll use it when I put together another quilt of some sort. So it's not. I'm not throwing anything away. It'll just get used for something else.
Okay.
So that's it. You finished something?
Projects. I finished 2 things, kind of, sort of. The first is the baby sunshine blanket that I finished last week, and it was black.
Yeah.
So it looks like you can't see the whole thing. It's around
so
6
happy.
foot long, and it's that kind of crescent shape. So I think it'll be a fun baby blanket, and then as it grows, she can use it as like a cape. You know.
I think it'll be a good car seat blanket too because
yes, that's what I was
it's
thinking
shaped
too.
very conducively for that.
Yeah, or stroller. So
Yeah.
that will be on its way. I'm gonna get her address again from you because I had it somewhere, but I've lost it. Anyway, oh, actually, I probably have it in SSK stuff. So that'll be on its way to Christine. It's Tink
Mm-hmm.
this week because I have to go by the post office anyways. And then I also finished the opal socks, so they are both
They're
done.
so ugly. I
Now
love
they're
them,
coming to live with you.
but they are a little bit ugly.
Um, Man, those opal, it's the parrot colorway from the Rainforest series, and you can still see like one is definitely, even though I went down to zeros instead of 1.5s, one is definitely bigger than the other by a good bit, but like a quarter of an inch, I would say, instead of that full blown inch and a half that it was before.
Yeah.
So I need to measure them and figure out what size they are. Because I probably was knitting them for someone. I'm thinking they were for my grandmother many moons ago, and I just need to make sure that they will actually fit her. So that's the first thing. She's the same size foot as my mother. So, um, or they can probably fit mom. And mom won't think they're ugly because they're from me, and she
That's true.
appreciates everything. I even bought Wheezy a present this week. T Fury had this T-shirt, and it's the Penguins hockey logo. But instead of like the Penguins hockey logo has like a little penguin in the middle, instead of a penguin, it's got the Penguin from Batman.
Oh gosh.
So funny.
Danny DeVito.
Like the old school, more like old school
Oh,
comic
okay.
book style, but yeah, that kind of penguin. So it's pretty funny. So those are the two things I finished. You did some spinning. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go
Sure,
first?
I'll go. I just did a little bit of spinning. Um, my friend Joanna sent me some bond because she bought some from, I can't remember the company name, and the lady sent her a little note included with it, and apparently it came from the sheep named Joanne and Leslie. So, so she
Oh,
sent me 4 ounces of it, which was very sweet.
that's super sweet.
So I spun this bond. It's just a natural color bond. I
You
spun it.
applied it, it looked like.
Yes, I spun it long draw on the mini spinner, which I don't really love. It's a lot harder to like make minute adjustments as you're going, which I need to do often in long draw to find like that sweet spot.
I feel
Um,
like it doesn't pull in like I need it to. I
well,
don't
I
know.
can get it to pull in, but then it's pulling too fast or not twisting fast enough with the pull. And it's just like with a regular spinning wheel, you can adjust your feet without having to take your
Mhm.
hands off the wool.
Yeah.
Whereas with the mini spinner, you have to stop and make the change. So it's just not as organic feeling. But I did spin and applied this morning. I haven't taken it off yet. It is very squishy.
I like Bond. Yep.
So I really enjoyed spinning it. So
Cool.
yep.
Any plans for the finished skein?
No, I don't. Not yet. I just wanted to spin it because it was a sweet gift. So
That is a super sweet gift. I received a gift as well. That
my
was your.
gifts are better than your gifts.
Well, they are. Look at my cool spindle bag.
Oh, that's so cool.
So Jane Smiley sent me one of her spindle bags to try out, and it is super cool. So it's got this awesome handle that matches the bottom, and then the Charlie Harper fabric,
Yeah.
and then the inside is like, and it sits by itself, like, see, hands off, sitting, and it's like very structured because it's lined with like an upholstery fabric.
Mhm.
And so that made me want to spindle spin quite a bit. It's also got a small pocket in the inside. I
Cool.
almost did the hobbits plural, but I decided not to. And that is her information. She also runs the Carolina Frolic Retreat, which I wish I could go to, but it's during school. Hopefully next year it'll line up where it's during my like spring break type thing. But she is Jane B. Smiley on Etsy, and I have been spindle spinning on the hedgehogs again. So this is Vice fiber that I started when I met the Mustache Girls
Stacy
and
and
went to
Steph.
yes, and went to the Texas Yellow Rose Festival.
Yeah.
I got both these things there, and that was the first time I met Jerry Brock. And so this is my little hedgehog. You can't see him, but or was it penguins? Now I can't even. No, it's penguins. A little penguin spindle. See, I don't even know which spindle it is. But my little penguins, and so I resumed spinning this, and it's a superwash merino by Vice, and so it's hanging out in that bag. It fits perfectly, and the other like 3 ounces of fiber that I have to do also fit in there, so it's nice and kind of chill together.
That's cool.
So I'm excited about that, and it's making me spindle spin because I'm like, I want to play with the pretty bag, you know. Other things that I spun this week, I did the other half of the Rain's Obsessive Stitchery, the
Oh,
Angora
that's really pretty.
Merino blend.
Yeah.
So that's going to get plied pretty soon. Let me hold that closer. It's kind of washing out. My light's pretty bright.
It looks very purple.
It is very purple. It's a color that I enjoy.
It is.
And then yesterday I spun that Gales Art Natural. I love looking at through the Acreworks.
Yeah, they are. Acreworks makes great bobbins.
My little purple bobbin. And he's got a new shade of purple bobbin.
Yeah.
Which is going to happen to be mine. These were both spun on the mini spinner, and then here's another Acreworks bobbin. So I'm going to apply those two together. This is the wool pierogi Rolkas, the Rolex, and then that Gales Art, 2 ounces of the Gales Art. So I have another 2 ounces of the Gales Art to do that again. So I'll ply those together when I feel like plying. I have 20 bobbins with things on them.
I love plying. That's like, because you're so close to being done.
I like plying too, but I've decided to try to fill up every single one of my bobbins because it's hilarious. So, bobbin gardens.
Because it's stressing me out.
That could be part of it too. That's an extra special benefit to this whole thing. Oh. Anyway, we have a book review. It's so awesome. I want to knit all the things in it.
Yes.
And that is Colours of Shetland by Kate Davies.
Yes.
It is, in the UK, it is 14.99 pounds.
Yes, and it was originally published in 2012. So the book is a couple of years old. Yep. And I will say, so the book talks in a little bit in the back. There's a little bit about the author, Kate, and she talks about how she was a researcher and a historian and a writer before she was a knitter. And you can
definitely
tell that when you read the book, because it does have some beautiful patterns, but it also has some wonderful information about Shetland, and it's presented in a way that really makes you want to learn more.
Oh yeah, and go and visit.
Yes.
So it has a total of, let's see.
It has a visual index in the front
yes.
to give you an overview of the patterns.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
At the beginning of each pattern, it talks about the inspiration and the area that the pattern is based on.
It's got some great pictures. It's almost one of those books that you could keep as a coffee table book. It does have 10 patterns. That's what I was counting. I love the sweater and gauntlets, the Stevenson sweater and gauntlets.
I do too.
I think they're very cool.
I think it's
a
beautiful low stress way to do fair isle knitting, and she actually recommends doing the gauntlets as a swatch for the sweater.
Super smart.
Which is a very smart thing.
And most of the sweaters in here or accessories use Jamieson and Smith 2-ply jumper weight. So if you use a lot of, like, you can use bits and bobs. Like that blue that's in the Stevenson sweater, you could also use for something else if you wanted. But just gorgeous stuff. Great sizing from a 32 all the way up to a 50-inch bust sized. And just wonderful schematics. So there's a schematic, and then this chart on the side goes with all the different measurements.
Yes, and she's got some good photography of each piece, not just the artsy shot, but also it gives you an idea of what it looks like from the back, what it looks like from the side, etc. It has a lot of great just sort of side note articles. Like Laura mentioned, there's a piece about the puffins, which are known by several different names. And then she's got knitwear based on the puffin, the beak of the puffin, and how it the colors change over the years as I guess their beaks sort of molt, and so every winter the outer coating falls off.
Everything is with inches and centimeters.
Mm-hmm.
So it is by whatever. I really like this one. This is the Ursula cardigan and Ursula mitts. So there's those little mittens that go with it as well.
And it's meant to sort of be reminiscent of the delicate floral, the flowers found on Shetland.
And it's very 1940s inspired.
Mm-hmm. And the cardigan is faced with ribbon on the placket. And she does give instructions for that in the pattern. There are no photo instructions of sewing the ribbon to the placket, but there's also the North Maven.
I like this shawl a lot. It's almost a hap shawl style,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
would say. And then
And
also a hoodie.
it's feather and fan, but not. I don't know. It's a feather and fan. I could not hate doing. It's so open and flowy and just beautifully done. I love the way that she's wearing it here, where it's wrapped around and tied in
Yeah.
the back.
I really like the hoodie as well.
I do too. Simple stripes. It's got a zipper sewn in. It goes from 32 to 50 inches in the bust.
A nice I-cord bind off, pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Just very well thought out patterns as a whole.
Yes.
And just a pretty book. Nice clear charts.
Yes, and
Easy to read and locate things.
it makes you very interested in the area and its history.
Mm-hmm.
And the final patterns are scatness. There's a tunic and a tam, and it's beautiful color work. A simple open cardigan, and there's also the tam. Nice clear charts. The instructions are broken up nicely by section, so your eyes don't sort of glaze over reading this, 2-page long bit of text with no natural breaks. And she also has some information in the back about wheelhouse buttons,
Yep. And a photo tutorial on how to do wheelhouse buttons.
step by step.
That's what's used in scatness.
She talks about the special techniques in the back, short rows, color work, swatching. She gives reference points.
And there's also links to different photo or video tutorials.
Mm-hmm. And then in the back, this might have been one of my favorite parts. She talks about the acknowledgments. So, like, she's got her test knitter, her tech reviewer, her husband.
Bruce.
Yeah, her husband who also does the photography for her books, and then Bruce, her dog.
And if you follow her on Instagram, she posts pictures of Bruce quite often.
I don't know, I love that. It humanizes people when you see them
Yeah.
with their pets, I think. So overall, a fantastic book. Lots of wonderful information about Shetland and beautiful patterns as well. So if you haven't, you should definitely check out the patterns online, and you can purchase this at Kate Davies Designs at her website. We'll put a link to that in the show notes.
Yep.
So thank you for
Very
sending us the review.
All right. What we are reading. I am reading The Dragon Conspiracy by Lisa Sheeran. It's the second in the Spy Files Chronicles. It is a paranormal urban paranormal type situation. I enjoy it. It takes place in New York City. So this one starts at the Metropolitan Museum of Art and has dragons. And I am a fan of the dragons.
Like you do.
Yep, and it also involves like werewolves and vampires and typical urban paranormal fare. So it's got like a mystery and a lot of action adventure, but I enjoy it. This is the second one, so it's been worth. Actually, the way I got onto her is she did. So I love Alana Andrews, and Alana Andrews did like a short story collection, and she was one of the authors in the short story collection. Lisa was. And so I read her story, and it was actually a short story that led into the first Spy Spy Files novel, and so then I had to get that, which is called The Grendel Affair, which has to do with a Grendel, like Beowulf, like you do.
Like you do.
And, and then this one, so I'm into that right now. It's nice fluff reading. It is adults. It is not kids or YA. So I've also been reading a ton of Nora Roberts because my library has them to download online for free.
Oh,
So I've been enjoying that as well. I just read all three of the Innkeepers. So I have been enjoying Nora Roberts as well. I've been enjoying fluff. I've had a hard week, so
I go through periods
I
like
bumped
that.
my head and had some drama there. So I needed some fluff this week.
Well, I've been reading. I finished the first Iron Druid
Yeah, obviously you
audiobook.
liked it because you got the second.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a little it's bordering the guy who narrates it, the main character is a male protagonist.
Mhm.
And he's bordering on being kind of cocky, so I'm not
Yeah.
sure if I'll get the next one, but it's been good so far. The reason I downloaded the second one is because one of the protagonist is a druid, and so
Yes.
he can use magic, and he has somehow he can talk to his dog with his mind, and his dog
I
can
like
talk
the dog
back.
was my favorite character in
Yeah,
that
so
whole
that's
series.
why. Yeah, his dog's name is Oberon, and his Oberon is very sarcastic, and so I like
Yes.
that. So I've been reading that, and then I
It's
started.
very much like Jim Butcher's Dresden
I might
Files.
have to give Dresden Files another try, but I tried it several years ago and didn't like it, but
I like the audiobook for the first one.
maybe I'll try it. But I'm also reading the Socket Greenie saga, which was like an Amazon deal like a month ago. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll download several books and not get to them until later, but
Yeah.
um, it is sort of science fiction. The protagonist is a teenage male, but it's really good. I'm enjoying it. It's a 3 series book, and I think I'm on the last one. So, yeah, it's been pretty good.
Very cool. I also read, if you're a friend of mine on Goodreads, I read a book on the history of sneakers this week for YA.
Wow.
It was really interesting, and then it went into like the microeconomics of sneaker production. But it's interesting, like the guy who made Adidas sneakers and the guy who made Puma sneakers were brothers in Germany,
Oh,
and they kind of fell apart during like World War II and kind of had this fierce rivalry from that point on.
huh.
So it was interesting. And then it went into like the history of Nike and how like money, like the Michael Jordan sponsorship was
Yeah,
like their first big thing, and now like a third of all their sales are Jordan
yeah.
paraphernalia. It was interesting from an economic standpoint because it did go into that a little bit more. Favorite things. I went to the Oxford Fiber Festival this weekend, yesterday, and I got to hang out with Gail and Eloise, who are super sweet, and Gail drove. Thank goodness, because I was so tired I was falling asleep on the way back.
You can fall asleep anywhere, so that doesn't
Yes,
really say
and then I
anything.
talk when I'm sleeping too. Like I can answer questions. It's ridiculous. Um, so that was fun. I got to hang out with Chris and Denise of Lost City Knits, and I purchased 2 skeins of their hardworking worsted,
Hmm.
and they gave us some stuff to give away on the podcast because they
Cool.
are super sweet.
They are. They're good people.
And I get to see them at Stitches South in a couple months, which is awesome. And then I get to see them at Vicksburg the following month. I was like, I'm just gonna follow you around
You're a groupie.
because they're worthy of having groupies. They're good people
They are.
who dye lovely yarn. So you can't lose there.
And that's Lost City Knits. I know they have an Etsy shop.
I think it's on their site. I don't think it's Etsy.
Okay.
Okay, so it's Lost City Knits. I'll try to remember to link it, or I'll make Leslie do it. Um, also, Frostbead. Okay, so I found a new candle maker, and I have been burning. I found them before Christmas, and they have a butterbeer candle, and I got Leslie one of their candles for Christmas, which was
Tea Earl Grey hot.
yes, because they were also doing at that point more like sci-fi stuff,
Hmm.
but now they are just doing books, and they are called Frostbeard Studio. They are on Etsy, and they do book lover candles. I had stumbled across like a Pinterest best things for book lovers, and
Hmm.
that's how I found them. And they do monthly candles, and so I got their Through the Wardrobe, which was January's candle, which is a Narnia reference. um, which I have not burned yet, but it smells like pine and snow and just awesomeness.
Does it smell
And
like the little goat dude that meets them when they
no,
go
no,
through?
no, it does not.
I can't remember that little
This
dude's name.
Mr. Now we're driving everyone crazy. Mr. Oh, it's not Timmons. Anyway,
Fine.
I'll think of it in a second. It's been a long time since I read Narnia. This month is Twuwav for the
Twuwav.
Princess Bride, so I might end up getting that. I burned my butterbeer one almost all the way to the ground. It smells so good. I just love it. So they have great soy-based candles if you know someone who's into awesome candles, but also is a book nerd. They have like the Oxford Library scent. They have a lot of stuff. Buffy's behind you.
Yeah, she's usually down here if I'm down here. What's up, Buff Buff? Hey, pretty girl.
So they've got great stuff, and you should definitely check them out. SSK groups are going swimmingly, and we
Yes.
do have a cal going on that started today for Susan B. Anderson's patterns. So if you are attending SSK and you want to get in on that, there is a twist that I added for team participation, and you can find all of that on the SSK website, but also it's in the Ravelry group as well. I almost said Etsy group. We don't have an Etsy group. We have a Ravelry group. We have a Ravelry group for both the Knit Girls, if you are new to the podcast and did not know that. And also, if you are attending Super Summer Knit Together, we have a group for that as well. And then I have a group for my patterns, which is insane. And I don't know. We do all the groups.
And now you can't even get there at work.
No, I can't, which is making it like it used to be when I came home from work, like I get home at like 3:15, and so 3:15 to 4 was my like decompression time, like just do whatever I want, like sit in bed and read or make a cup of coffee and just kind of chill. Now it's my get on Ravelry time and do all the things that I have to do and fall and bump my head.
And pay attention to the cat.
So that is going on. And then we have a pattern giveaway to discuss.
Yes.
So why don't you discuss that? Because I've been talking for forever.
So, a lovely member of our group, Sarah Monty, is also a wonderful designer. She designs a lot of patterns for her own store as well as for Plymouth Yarn Company.
Yeah.
So she has offered to give away 5 patterns. And so what we're going to do is we're going to open a thread in the Ravelry group. All you have to do to enter is to tell her what photograph you liked best from any of her patterns.
Oh, cool. That's a good one.
And we'll pick 5 random numbers when we record next week. But she's also offering $1 off any of her patterns with the code TheKnitGirls, and we'll put that in the top of the giveaway thread as well. TheKnitGirls, no spaces, and the first letter of each word is capitalized. So $1 off any of her patterns. She's got everything from sweaters, scarves, hats.
She's got a gorgeous shawl.
Yes, shawls. I mean, she's got everything. So anything you could want, she's got something designed for it. So we thank her for that, and we will pull names for that next week. And that's all I got.
Okay. Well, we hope you all have a wonderful week, and we will check in with you all next week.
Yep.
So bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.